Hello, and welcome to episode 13 of the EverQuest 2 playthrough. Oh my god, episode 13. uh, you're gonna have to excuse me a bit, I am sick, but we're gonna do the best we can to, get some proper quality into this thing, you know, as per the usual. So we're gonna start off with just accepting all the quests around here and turning them in, and then we'll continue on from there. Trapper Colbert.
Hello.
Be on the lookout, danger lurks everywhere. I've seen two already today. Ferocious quadrupedal beasts whose insatiable appetite for adventurers like you and me can only be met with an equal disdain. Huh? Bears! Bears? Yes, bears. The number one threatened butcher block. Tell me, can you help? I may be an accomplished hunter, put on this world with a single purpose of removing all mammalian calamities, but I can't do it all alone. If not for me, could you do it to help protect everyone else? Sure, I suppose I could help. Great, you can get started right away. As I said, I've seen several already. Come see me again when you've significantly reduced the threat of bears in the area. Will do. Garana Cobbleblork.
Greetings!
To fly about the heavens is all this gnome wants to do. Excuse me? You see out there, way out there, up high, that's the home of the Crag Plumes, a tribe of aviacs that have lived in Butcher Block Mountains for hundreds of years. I've heard of aviacs before. What of them? It has been said that hundreds of years ago they once lived atop the trees here in giant platforms. What I said that must have been. Now, though, after the cataclysm, the crag plumes have flocked to that mess up there near those huge crystalline formations. Are the crag plumes peaceful? Peaceful? Ha, not exactly. You see, the crag plumes are a bit xenophobic. That means distrustful of others. Anyway, they tend to attack anyone who gets near them. This, of course, has hindered the flank contraption my husband and I are working on. How is that? Well, my husband is off in Freeport collecting Ixar scales, which he has told me is quite a difficult task, but I think my task is even harder. Perhaps I could help you? Well, my first task is to gather up a crate of kittens, which I've already done and shipped back to my laboratory. I'm having a heck of a time getting all the feathers I need, however. Would you mind gathering some feathers from the Cragplume Aviacs? Sure, if the price is right. Splendid! You might have an easier time getting them than I did. When I asked the Cragplumes in person, they tried to eat me. Can you believe that? Me! I don't taste very good. At least, I don't think I do. Anyway, I'll need a great deal of feathers, so you better start now. You can find plenty of Cragplumes north of here. Off I go. So they're right over there. Argro Durthor.
Hail to ye!
Well met. Argro Durthor's the name. Right convenient to meet you. I am Meridian. What do you mean convenient? Well, you're here just in time. Just in time for what? For the Dwarven reclamation of Caladim, of course. We're on the eve of it, Iridian. And soon Nordorf will have to settle for living anywhere else. Well, not literally on the eve. Make no mistake, we've still got plenty of hard years of work ahead of us, but the day will come when Caladim will once again be ours. And you're in the right place at the right time to do your part. What do you say? What do you want of me? The first order of business involves cleaning up the Butcher Black Mountains. Kobolds, bugbears, goblins, sirens, and aviacs all have some hold on the area. It is our job to lessen this hold to make Butcher Block safe. Then we can prepare for the liberation of Caladim. So what do I need to do? If you'd like to help, then start with the Yarpsnall kobolds. Their lookouts and ravagers can be found to the east. Taking them out won't topple the kobold army, but it will keep them on the defensive in this region. Okay, I'll take them out. That's what I like to hear. I'll be back. So, I'm gonna put off talking to him a minute, because that actually leads into our first true Mount quest. I would not worry about talking to him. I've never done those quests. It just involves going back to Freeport and doing quests there. Or Kinos if you're good. The annoying Disil.
I greet you.
Curse these warped arrows. How do they expect us to hit our enemies if our arrows are curved rounder than a halfling's belly? What is this about arrows? These arrows I just received from a shipment of them from... Well, that's not important for you to know. The point is, they are ruined. All of them waterlogged and warped. I have no choice but to find new ones. Perhaps I could be of service? Could I help? Yes, that would be excellent. First, I need you to find a Master Fletcher. When you do, beat him to submission until he agrees to follow your every command. Slaughter a family member or two if necessary. Just make sure you can follow orders and that his hands remain in working order. Uh, Pretty standard, really. What? Oh, is that too drastic for you? Uh, Perhaps you could find a solution that does not involve as much violence. Well, what do you suggest? Why don't I collect the items you need to make new arrows? I suppose that would work, though I do like the idea of beating someone into submission. Anyways, I need fresh cut timber to whittle down into arrow shafts. Bring me a substantial pile of timber from the trees around here. Right away. Thevel Uthonis.
Hello.
1,000 curses on the master. A mage of my stature shouldn't have to stoop so low as to be forced to collect spell components for his experiments. What are you seeking? My benefactor is most insistent that I gather the dust from the wisps that meander throughout these mountains. Something about their nature adds to the potency of a spell he is creating. For a reward, I might be able to collect the wisp dust for you. Alright, I might be able to part with a trinket of sorts in exchange for your help. The sooner I have all the material components I've been asked to bring back, the sooner I can return to home. Yes, home. We have a deal. I'll return with a large amount of dust shortly. Next, we talk to Gildrani Jetel. I think that's how you pronounce it. The Arasai can take their destiny into their own hands. My research has led me here, and I'm so close to completion I can taste success. Okay, I'll bite. What is it you've been researching? I believe I found an energy source that could prove quite helpful if we learn how to properly harness it. I've been running some studies back in Darklight Wood, and the trail of my findings has led me here. I'm wondering if you might be able to lend me some assistance. Perhaps. What is it you need to have done? It's quite simple, really. The energy manifests itself as a small, floating, luminescent light. The Arpsnarl mystics have found a way to entrap these orbs and use them as charms, completely unaware as to what it is they actually have. It's probably easiest to just gather one of the orbs from the Arpsnarl rather than trying to catch one yourself. Well, it sounds simple enough. If the pay is worth it, I'll see if I can get one of these orbs for you. Excellent, then. As I said, the mystics are the one that carry the charms. You will want to seek them out in favor of the rest of their pack. Bring the orb you recover back to me. Alright then, I'll return soon. Old Man Silvers. Now, his quest actually takes you through a lot of the zones, so it's not gonna be like you're instantly done and you get the main reward of the quest. It's gonna be a while.
Well met.
Ahoy, landlubber. You be looking like somebody who can help an old salt. What do you need, old man? Is that any way to be talking to someone who can help you find the treasure of one of the greatest pirates to ever sail these seas? You have piqued my interest. Please go on. That be a tale of the great pirate captain Roger Goldie hid his most prized possessions before he disappeared. Many have searched for it, but none have been successful. Fortunately, I may be able to finally solve the puzzle. Why is that? I've been the only living member of Roger's crew and one of the few people he truly trusted. I've kept the trail a secret for years now, but I need to find a strong set of legs and an ambitious adventurer to help me finally retrieve the treasure. What exactly is it that a landlubber like me can do for an old salt, as you put it? For we can retrieve the treasure of me old cap'n, you are going to have to prove your worth. There'll be a series of locations, each with a clue to the next location. In order to solve the riddle at each location, I'll need your cooperation, as they say. So what do you need me to do? Each location contains a clue to the next. Eventually, putting them all together will lead us to Roger's treasure. Unfortunately, each location has residents that may not be happy about me snooping around. So I'm going to distract them by doing what? Running errands for them? Now don't be going and getting all addled. Your help not only procures the locals' cooperation, it also prepares you for the road ahead. Why do I get a feeling you might be setting me up? Blimey, I would never do such a thing. If I did, then I may have to dance with Jack Ketch and it would be off to the locker with me. Okay. So is there a lot of treasure at the end of this trail? It is said to have been the captain's most prized possessions, and over the years Roger acquired more booty than you can ever imagine. What do I have to lose? Where do we start? Glad to be hearing it. When you're ready, meet me up near the entrance to Greater Fate Arc, which is way over there. I think. Yeah, he's gonna be chilling way up there. Talivray to Zith.
Greetings.
I don't remember calling for you. What is it you need? Who has sent me here? He said that you might be looking for some help. I see. Hulis is being a good little pet, sending me some help when he knows I have no need of it, but just for my own convenience. Well, I guess since you are here, I could put you to some good. I've had just about enough of all this menial work anyway. Courser of my talents is sent to Fedor to collect samples for magical research. This is work that should be relegated to students or apprentices. My abilities have far more practical and advantageous applications. Is that so? And what would you rather be doing then, given the chance? Well, I see the need for study, but why are we picking flowers and collecting stones when we could instead be learning about the lesser races and creatures that now inhabit this land? Who they are, what they live like, what their weaknesses are. This information would be far more useful to the tier doll than the latest magic properties of flower petals. So I take it that you have a plan then? Indeed I do, but I'll need help to execute it. You see, I still have my assigned work thanks to my partner here. I can't really abandon my duties. However, if you could provide me with some assistance, we could together test the theory I have. We'll need several pounds of terror trotter meat to begin with. You most likely saw them lumbering about the beaches below us. Sounds interesting. I may be willing to help if there's pay involved. What is it you are proposing? I cannot explain the details of exactly what I'm going to do to the likes of you, for I doubt you would understand it. The only parts important to you are the task and the result. Can you handle that? Sure that I can. I'll gather the meat and return soon. Researcher Reddick.
Hello!
Yes. Researcher Kamon sent me. I'm here to find out more about the crag plume living in the mountains. If you'd like, I can tell you a few things about the crag plume right now. First, they're larger and stronger on the average. While they don't seem to have the same level of intelligence as the Hawaiian, they're far more fierce and more deadly in combat. Not sure how the two species are related, but they certainly have some kind of connection. Have you seen any members of the Hawaiian here in Butcher Block, perhaps? It's interesting that you should ask me that, because just this morning I overheard the guards saying they saw a Hawaiian in the sky above us. We looked, but whatever it was disappeared. Am I worth investigating? Okay then, how'll I find the creature? Actually, it came close enough to that one of our guards was able to hit it with a spear. Although it was just a glancing hit. There were feathers everywhere, though, and it was still dropping some as it flew off. You might be able to follow that trail to where the creature went. Maybe that will give us some answers. Indeed. I'll see what I can find and we'll report back. And thus, they finally get on with the missions. We will start with the turtles down at the beach here. And just jump down, since that's the quickest way. Careful not to land in too shallow of an area. And then, you know, begin killing. So, real quick, I'm going to explain the arrow one. It's this one. You're gonna look for these Axfeld lumbers and you're just gonna harvest them and you'll get what you need for the quest. It's gonna be a bit of a trial and error, seeing as you might not always get the wood, but it's good for leveling up your skill. And we will, in fact, be doing stuff that involves that at one point or another. Well, that's quite a pile of lumber you have there. Good work. I can begin making the arrow shafts at once. Now give me the feathers. Who said anything about feathers? You can't make arrows without suitable fletching. I know that. You didn't mention you wanted me to get feathers for you, though. Well, it seemed plain obvious to me. Sheesh. Now, I've tried using the feathers from the hawks here, but they're too dainty. Need feathers from larger, more sturdy beast. I could bring feathers back from the AVX to make their home here. Yes, crag plume should work quite well. Bring me several feathers from any type of crag plume you're able to hunt down. Their plumage would be best to make my arrows from. It will be done in due course.
Well met.
Good, the master will be most pleased with me. Perhaps now after securing his trust I can... Well, my plans are of little matter to you. Here, take this. Let it not be said that your doll did not keep their word. Indeed.
Well met.
Where's the terror trotter and meat I need? Right here. Ah, you've done well. This should be exactly what I need to execute the experiment. Well, aside from a little more help from you, that is. Now, if you'll excuse me for a moment, I'll prepare this for my next step in the plan. As long as there's more pay, I'll be right here. There, I've completed my task, and now it is your turn. You want to take this bowl of food to the Arpsnarl camp and place it nearby one of the kobolds there. Do not let him see you, or he will probably just ignore the dish and try to eat you instead. If that happens, you probably deserve it. If no kobold comes to eat it, pick it back up and move it somewhere else. If one of them does not eat the food in here, you cannot run the test. Understand what happens once they eat the food. The food is enchanted to make the kobolds open to suggestion and should make them follow you without question. Once a kobold has eaten the food, I want you to try to get him and kill him. I want you to try to get him to attack and kill his own packmates. If you will do that, then I will know that I have complete control over the creature and that I will consider the experiment a success. Okay, so feed this to a kobold and it will suddenly follow me around. Are you sure about this? Well, I have no reason to question my own magic craft. I don't know how well the enchantment will work on what is essentially a simple creature. It might just go primal and attack everything nearby, or it might just run off to the hills. I wouldn't attempt walking too far from the camp this time, as I don't know how long the enchantment will last. I see. Well then I'll return and let you know how things go. The mystics will be carrying the luminescent orbs. Have you confronted them? I have, and I was able to find one of the orbs for you. Ah, there we are. Now be careful with that. They are quite fragile and can be easily disrupted. Ah, yes, this will do fine. This will do perfectly. You did a fine job retrieving this, and there is still more to be done. I trust you can rely on your help for a bit longer, yes? Let's see what you would have me be doing first. Now, in order to conduct my experiments, I need a couple of elements that can be found within the Butcherblock Mountains. First, I'll need a pile of soil. The soil I need can be found just below the surface, a few feet down. Kobolds in their savage fervor will occasionally dig some of this soil from what would otherwise be solid, impacted dirt. See if you can find some of these piles of pure soil. If I were looking for the soil, where might I find it? Who knows what those curs are digging for, but in the end, they're doing the hard work for me anyway. Bring me as much of the soil as you can find. I'll see what I can do. You have returned. What did you find out? I was attacked by both a Warren and Cragplume. Looks as if they set up an alliance. Both species together? I wonder what that might mean. There's reason to believe that they might be preparing an attack on Gorowin. With both the Warren and Cragplume working together, the city may not be able to repel the assault. We need to find out more. We want to stifle any efforts the Warren have made to solidify their alliance with the cousins. I would guess that the Warren will attempt to make offerings for appeasement to the Cragplume. Okay, what must I do then? Note that the Cragplume are fiercely territorial and it's none too trusting. It's not likely that the Cragplume would allow the Warren to set up in the roost so long as they have camps on the cliffs. Look up in the camps and see if you can gather up their offerings. Bring them back here once you have them. Sounds good. I'll make my way up to the cliffs. Thanks for your help. Perhaps one day we'll be free from the furry clutches of their terrifying wrath. But for now we must remain vigilant, mindful of our berry patches and cautious when eating outside with family members of beautiful sun-filled days. We can only hope for the best. Have you taken care of the kobolds? I have. Great, if we keep the kobolds busy defending, then we'll have an easier time building and training an army to retake Caladim. That's another thing I've volunteered to help with, the creation of the army. I've been tasked with coming up with non-standard methods of outfitting an army for combat. By non-standard, they mean cheap. But that doesn't worry old Argro. Why not? Since time began, wars have been fought where the soldiers didn't have easy access to refined metals and hot forges. They made do with what they had available to them, and that's what I intend to do. North of here, along the top of the cliffs, there's a large number of beetles. I need you to collect some of the carapaces for me. To use for armor? Exactly. My experience, the hardest shells come from the smaller beetles, the ones we call the granite beetles. Obviously they got that name for a reason, eh? Anyway, I would like 10 of their carapaces. That should be enough to come up with some of the armor sets I can show to my superiors. If they like it, maybe I'll become famous. Argro's armor. They'll say, The recapture of Caledine was impossible without it. I'll see what I can gather. Why, if it wasn't for Argro, we might still be living out in the Butcher Black Mountains, or worse still, Freeport. Oh, that Argro. He sure did attract the ladies, even the non-dwarven ones. Alright, alright. Neato, look at all these feathers. Wonderful, just wonderful. Here you are. Take this for your efforts. Oh, Johnny and I will be flying along in no time. Glad to be of help. The yapping, it stopped. I judge you were successful then? I've slain several kobolds. I'm sure more will take their place. Aye, there will always seem to be more no matter how many we slay. Someone must be organizing the camps into effective fighting forces. Any clue as to who or what could be responsible? The other evening I was investigating the kobold's behavior, and I went upon a most unexpected sort of meeting. Go on. A troop of goblins, larger and more sinister than the ones I've seen near the coast, emerged from the darkness. I expected a battle between them and the kobolds, but instead I saw the two parties discuss some matter in a tongue I could not quite decipher. And what happened? The goblins, muckflicks I think they're called, have established themselves here in the mountains. There they wait for messages from their runners to continue the plot with the Yarp Snarls. Perhaps if I intercepted a message from one of the muckflick runners, we could learn more about their plans. It's a great idea. Go, slay one of the runners and bring back the message it carries. Perhaps we can learn more. I'll be back before you know it. So, we're actually gonna deal with this quest. It leads up to a new mount quest.
Well met.
Well, hello adventurer, welcome to our dig site. We've just started, so please be careful where you tread. We've had enough problems with the kobolds already, we need to keep the rest of what we have in good shape. What is it you're doing here? Well, when the camp was set up near the Griffin Tower, some of the workers came across unusual bones that did not appear to match any of the current local creatures. After looking at these bones myself, I bid to set up a dig site to find more information. I see, have you managed to find anything of interest? We have. The bones here seem to be similar to a creature found in Tamor's Deep, known as a raptor. I'm actually not surprised, since it's possible these two lands were closer or maybe even connected at some point in the past. Who's to know? Interesting to say the least, but wait, what did you say about the kobolds? Oh yes, the kobolds. They seem to have taken an interest in the bones as well, although I'm not sure what they are planning to do with them since the bones are no longer edible. Perhaps the kobolds wish to carve them into totems. I'd imagine it's saying along those lines. We need those pieces back then? Actually, we really do. A good portion of what we found has been stolen, including a couple of rare pieces that might provide a wealth of information. Oh, if only I had that egg. Let me see what I can do then. Wait here and I'll bring back what I can. This is a really good mount. It lets you jump, which can be incredibly useful in the future. Downfall, you can only get that quest at level 30. I'll start with this quest first. So what you're going to want to do is kind of inch your way forward. Oh, of course he walks away. It's gonna take a bit of trial and error, but you can get pretty decently close to these guys. Oh, and he's... yeah, he ate it. So, now I want to figure out what the heck I think it was... nope. There we go. Now, we send it after, make sure it attacks first, and begin the killing. Now they're both action. Real quick, for the quest part of finding Saldess's egg, it is right here. Easy to find. And there you go. EverQuests. Yes, these will do nicely. Excellent work. I've nearly completed whittling the shafts from the timber you brought, and with these feathers I can attach the fletching. It only leaves the arrowheads to deal with now. You can't lose the arrowheads from the old arrows? I'm afraid not. Those arrowheads were all rusted and brittle. I can't go slaying people's shoddy arrowheads now, can I? Of course not. I need to procure some sharpened stone which I can use as a substitute. Or might I find material like that? I've seen some lumbering brutes patrolling the northern reaches of these mountains. Bugbears, I believe they are called. They carry massive weapons made of flint or obsidian. Bring me back a pile of those weapons. I should be able to craft some new arrowheads out of them. I take my leave. Tell me how the experiment is going. Everything seems to have gone as you predicted. So it worked then? Not that I had any doubt on my theory, but nonetheless, I am glad to hear that it went as I expected. I'll work on enhancing the enchantment further, but I can do that on my own. In the meantime, you served me well, and you can be proud of yourself for that. You may go for now. Thanks, I guess?
Hello!
I will need the soil as soon as possible. Did you find it yet? I found the soil you were asking for. A little doubt you would return the soil I needed. Yes, everything's coming together nicely. All I need is the water, and I can plant the seedling. Isn't this exciting? Sure. Seedling? I thought you had some dim ball of light. Yes, well, I would explain it, but I'm certain it would not make much sense to you. Now, if you're still willing, I have one more thing that needs to be gathered, and you can be on your way if you choose. Fine by me. As I'm sure you can well imagine, in order to plant a mystical seedling, you need water that is, itself, mystical in nature. There's a pool of water not far from here that will provide me with the water I need. The pool within the nearby druid rings absorbs much of the latent magic properties of the ancient place. It will protect and will be perfect for what I need. Please take this vial and fill it with the water you find there. This vial doesn't seem like it would hold much. This is all you need? Indeed. It shouldn't take much more than it would be in that vial, as the water near the rings is quite rich in magical properties. Alright then, I'll return at the water soon.
Hello!
It's good to see you back here. Did you find the offerings from the Wolverine? I believe I did find them. Here you go. Look at these. They are totems of hunting and strength. Some of this is familiar to what I have seen here. The Cragplume have a lot of respect for these aspects, and it's slightly likely that the Wolverine are attempting to appeal to those natures by fashioning these together. Why would that help their cause? I'm assuming that the Wolverine are trying to show the Cragplume that they also value and embody those aspects as well. The Cragplume won't likely join in on the attack on Gorwyn if they don't trust the strength of their cousins. Must ensure that the Wolverine are not able to convince the Cragplume to follow them. How do we do that then? The Wolverine must have someone speaking for them, an emissary of sorts. If we can destroy that emissary, and the emissary of the Cragplume, then we might be able to just completely disrupt any chance of an alliance between them. To protect Gorwyn, then we must put those two down. Do you think you could do this? Indeed, I'll seek them out. Excellent. They're most likely to the northeast past the Wolverine campsites. Be wary, it is not likely that the emissaries will travel alone. I will farewell now.
Well met.
You return, and by the look on your face, you were triumphant. Here, let me see the note you required. Here's the note. Ah, this is just what I feared. It is encrypted, or at least written in a language not familiar to these weary old eyes. This note's meaning is beyond me. You'll need to take this to my superiors, the Kilncore brothers. The Kilncore brothers? Where can I find them? Follow the trail that leads from this outpost and travel due northeast until you see the Dwarven outpost. The Kilncore brothers run the show there, working with the Iron Toe Brigade. Go on. Find John Dork Kilncore first. Give him this note and tell him where you got it. He'll be sure to help. I'm on my way. Good day and good luck.
To ye.
Have you gathered the materials? Yep, here you go. Ah, excellent. These will do nicely. I'd like to get started on creating the armor as soon as possible. Would you mind doing another favor for me while I work on this? Sure, what do you need? Travel northeast of here, past East Fort Irontail, you'll find a cave where miners are extracting minerals. We use these minerals for, well, that's not important, at least not to me, so I never bothered to learn what we use the minerals for. The important thing is that I've been tasked with collecting the requisition forms from the miners. If you don't keep the miners supplied, then they can't work, obviously. So I have to find what the miners need? Yeah, but it's not as hard as it sounds. There are 3 dig supervisors in the cave, 1 for each section. Among other things, are tasked with having and maintaining these requisition lists. All you need to do is find the supervisors and collect the lists from them. Alright. Once you get the lists, bring them back to me.
Hello.
Oh, you're back. Did you find the pieces we need? I did. I hope these will help you in your research. Oh, perfect. These are exactly what we were looking for. Oh, and look, you managed to bring back the egg too. This is wonderful. What is remarkable about the egg? I doubt it would still be viable after so long. Well, you see, most of the other egg fragments I discovered were broken. This was the only intact Salaraptor egg I came across, and it's the one that could provide us with tremendous amounts of information. Salaraptor? Is that recalling these things? Yes, indeed. Look at the femur structure on these beasts. They would have been capable of massive leaps, likely brought on by necessity, since all their prey would have lived in the mountainous cliffs. And, you know, Saldas. Very well then. So what will the egg teach you? Well, you see, I have a friend, Rel Verneef, who is camping out near the Griffin Post. He says that he might be able to use his abilities to extract whatever was once inside this egg, which would give us an incredible amount of information, as I'm sure you can well imagine. Ah, well yes, having one of the actual creatures themselves would indeed be ideal, but wait, you don't know that this is even a Salaraptor egg, and how do you know it won't just attack you? I don't know either for certain, to be fair, but it seems likely that the egg is a Salaraptor egg, since it was found among the other fossils here. As for its aggression, I hadn't considered that, but you're correct. They were definitely carnivores and certainly hunters. You could be endangering yourself and others with this experiment. True. Well, I hadn't considered... Oh wait, I have an idea. Why don't you take the egg? That way, if the creature is hostile, you can dispatch it. You can still study the body, although a live one is ideal, of course. Wait, so you want me to take over the egg now? Why, of course. Don't you see? You didn't seem to have much trouble with the kobolds out there. It's not likely that this thing could be much worse, right? Well, experience has taught me that it could be a lot worse, but you're right. It's probably best if we keep an eye on this. I'll take the egg to Rel. Thank you, friend. Come back and let me know how it went. I'm so excited to see this. I'll turn to you another time then. Farewell for now. I'm actually going to end the episode here. It has been going on for long enough. Next episode, we will talk to our friend Rel over there. We will finish off the quests for this section. And then we will be moving on, most likely, to East Fort Iron Toe over here. Or West Iron Toe. But for now, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!